133억 5천만 원의 상금을 가져갔을 주저항이 나올 수 있을지 직접 확인할 수 있으십니다.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another Korean movie review. We're going a little bit back in time on this one, not too far, only to 2010, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and review on the quiz show Scandal. This movie was directed by Jang Jin, who probably isn't the most familiar Korean director name internationally, say like a Park Chan-wook or Bong Joon-ho, or even like a Hong Sang-soo, but in my opinion, he's just as important to Korean cinema and deserves more recognition for his valuable, in my opinion, valuable contributions to really what makes Korean cinema so unique and fun to watch. Jang Jin's probably most well known domestically here in Korea as a playwright, but he's also penned some Korean classic screenplays like Ditto, Guns and Talks, Welcome to Dong McCall, and Someone Special, which is one of my personal favorite romantic comedy movies ever. I find his scripts to just be incredibly inventive, ambitious in scope, feature a lot of witty dialogue, and just have unique story conventions overall. The quiz show Scandal is one such movie, and it's one that Jang Jin is both writer and director on. So, movies that he's both writer and director on do boast higher degrees of his signature aforementioned style, which I find to be a lot of fun. So this movie, The Quiz Show Scandal, is about quite a few different characters, sort of different groups that come together. And so these groups, one of them is about 4 characters who are coming from a support group meeting for people with depression. So they're together in a car. There's a couple whose marriage is on the rocks, largely due to the husband's gambling addiction. They're in a car together. There's a father and son duo who don't really see eye to eye. They're in a car together. And there's a criminal duo with something that they don't want the cops to find in their trunk, which consists of, the duo consists of an extortionist and a fixer who fixes problems, things, anything you need. They get into a car accident, kind of a 4-car pileup, and they end up spending quite a bit of time in a local police station together, where also a local motorcycle gang was brought into. So there's a huge, and including the police officers, there's a bunch of people in this police station. They spend a lot of time together, and due to circumstances of the accident, these characters find themselves privy to the final and hardest answer of a game show called Quiz King that has never been won due to the final question being so hard, and whose jackpot has accumulated over time to tens of millions of dollars. So with their shared secret, these characters find themselves later competing against one another on the televised monthly game show called Quiz King, where their hardest challenge will be surviving until the final round, where they hope to use their advantage of knowing the final answer and winning the enormous jackpot. Now, obviously, the quiz show Scandal has this enormous cast, which is sort of this double-edged sword for the movie. Partly it's this large mixture of personalities that makes the fast-paced dialogue and situational humor work so well, but it also makes it so the film doesn't really have a clear protagonist. There's no real clear leading hero, no clear leading character, and really no main villain either, save for some unethical standards of practice on the part of some of the contestants or the creators of the game show. But just one thing that I really love about the characters that Jang Jin writes are that they're just so atypical of what you would expect. And I love that all bets are off with whatever the established standards are of the character archetype that's being portrayed. Just expect the unexpected with Jang Jin's characters. It's fun. They're going to be completely different than what you can imagine. There's almost too many to mention, but some of my favorite performances in this film came from Kim Soo-ro, who plays the extortionist of the criminal duo. Hilarious. Ryu Seung-ryong, who's the gambling addict, part of the husband-wife team. Oh man, every look this guy gives is priceless. And Shim Eun-kyung, who is this high schooler and member of the Depression group. I think a lot of people know her from one of her roles in the movie Sunny, which is great. These characters, their roles, dialogues were for me the most memorable and gave me the most laugh out loud moments. And as I said near the beginning of this video, the writer-director of the quiz show Scandal is a renowned playwright. And so there is this noticeable level of theatricality that comes across in the staging and overall scene design of his films. A lot of his film's key segments take place in a single setting, single stage, basically, for long portions of the film's runtime and feature extensive amounts of dialogue and sort of situational humor there. It's never boring, though, in the same way that Quentin Tarantino can keep us on the edge of our seats, cooped up inside Minnie's haberdashery in The Hateful Eight, for example, for nearly the entire movie. The quiz show Scandal spends almost 30 or 40 minutes in the film's first half, pretty much inside this small little police station with almost all of the main characters in there, bouncing off one another with this very witty dialogue, sort of situational comedy, sort of sitcom-esque fashion, but at the highest levels of writing and just witty humor. There's sometimes unnecessary, or I guess I would say extra gags that probably should have been cut or trimmed down to save on the running time, but it's these additional levels of quirk that I feel really give the film its distinctive directorial stamp, which personally is something I really like to see. During the actual game show segment of this film, which is the second half mostly, the pacing gets a little wonky as it goes through the various eliminations and some of the more bizarre trivia questions that the film sort of conveniently cuts away from actually showing us the answer to some of the more outlandishly hard questions. And the final drama that's reached in the climax and overall conclusion to the movie do leave a little bit to be desired, but honestly, it really would have taken probably an additional 15 or so minutes if it tried to wrap up every character's role, and it doesn't really feel that necessary considering we don't get to know them all that well, considering how many characters there are. So there's even some cameos from some of my favorite actors, Shin Ha-gyun, Jung Jae-young, who are usually some of the main characters in Jang Jin's other movies. So that was cool to see, but just more characters. So overall, the quiz show Scandal is very entertaining if you like your comedy a bit on the quirky side, with some witty dialogue, fun characters, which I do. So really based on the humor and writing, I'm going to rate the quiz show Scandal a solid 6.5 out of 10. Definitely give it a look if it sounds interesting and you're able to come across it. I was able to watch the quiz show Scandal with the Korean DVD here. It does have English subtitles if you need it, and it's one that I would say is fine for DVD for now, just based on I would like some of the other Jang Jin films to get Blu-ray treatment before, but hey, maybe down the road this would be one to look at for a possible Blu-ray, especially as we get more of the back catalog Korean movies available in HD format. So, but for now, the DVD is just fine, so if you can get this, might be a good idea. It's probably not that expensive nowadays. So that's going to be it for this one. If you do want to see more Korean movie reviews and you like some of maybe these older Korean movie reviews as well, like the video, let me know that that's what kind of content you want to see in the future. And if you want to see more, I do have other Korean movie reviews, mostly some of the newer films in the playlist section. So check that out. If you want to stay up to date with all our latest postings, you can hit that notify bell and let you know every time we post. So until next time, I'm Tyler from the Movie Beat. Keep watching movies.